It's showtime.
We have such sights to show you.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. We are doing a kind of a Thanksgiving family kind of show thing tonight, or this show, I should say, because you might watch it later. It may be in the morning. I don't know if you watch these things in the morning or in the evening. I don't know. But we're doing Munster Go Home with the Munster family, Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis, Yvonne DiCarlo, Butch Patrick. So it's going to be a fun show, I think. Hazard was complaining about all the slides that we put in the show because this one's I got fond memories of this one in my heart. I love the Munsters. I never would have thought I would have done this on this show, but here it is. We're doing it. So let's go ahead and bring up Major Hazard and some Master Sergeant Havoc to join me.
There's a lot of slides here, General. There's a lot of slides. I don't know. It might get buggy. You never know. We're going to see that.
I think the largest we've ever done is 175, and this would beat it by like 10 slides. So it's like
we're going to have to say hello to the little friendly tech gremlin. We're feeding them after midnight. There's no telling what's going to happen. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be bonkers and yonkers.
There's a lot going on in this film. They're doing a lot of
bonkers and yonkers.
And I wanted to share all the sticky stuff that they do in this film.
Yep.
So,
but
go ahead.
I got to be honest with you, General. There's two kinds of people in the world. There's Munster's people and there's Addams Family people.
That's true. I've noticed
and
that.
I'm more of an Addams Family person, but I did enjoy this little training film. I thought it was kind of cute. Yep.
Well, I got to tell you something. It's so great because I'll always eat the Brussels sprouts off your plate, Master Sergeant, because we're very interconnected. Because I'm a Munsters gal, I love the Munsters. I love being like quirky and silly. So I feel like I could watch an Addams Family with you, and then we could watch a Munsters with me, and it'll be a very holistic evening.
It would be my pleasure, Major. Anytime.
Wonderful.
I love both. But I do love Raul Julia's take on Gomez Addams.
So good.
But I'm a Munsters man through and through. I mean, Lily Munster.
I knew you would be because you like the comedy. You got some comedy chops.
Yeah,
Rory Penland.
Addams Family is really nice dark comedy too. Especially Christina Ricci. Doing the. And yes, I like the original show too, with John Astin and Carolyn Jones back in the 60s, and that's where this is from. They never got to be. I think they did one movie in the 70s where they got to be in color, and then they, the other people took over and started doing remakes. That's Hollywood.
So, General, the reason why I knew you was a Munsters guy was because you have this frenemy-ship, this frenemy thing with Rory Penland, and he does all these impressions. He's like a comedian. He's a comic. And, you're always trying to one-up him. You're always jealous of his comedy chops there.
Jealous? I have mutual respect for him, but I can do voices too.
Well, okay.
Matter of fact,
I don't think it's the same thing, General. I don't think you should quit your day job.
As a matter of fact, I just happen to have a grandpa wig here.
Oh my goodness! It's uncanny. The resemblance is uncanny.
Except for the mustache. The mustache is Gomez Addams, but Herman, I've got a potion.
Oh my goodness!
Wow! I feel like I'm watching the movie right now.
I'm confused. I felt like I was right inside the movie. I
That's
didn't
okay,
even
get a
know what
copy.
to say.
It's just,
Let's hope we
un-
don't get copyright hit.
uncanny.
If we put
Uncanny, yep.
that on the Rory Penland's TikTok, he's gonna be shocked. He's gonna be astounded.
I don't know about that, but like you said, I'm not the best. I mean, he's better than I am, obviously. And again, I have a lot of respect for him for that. By the way, I'm wearing my Washington logo T-shirt here. I'm bucking for a cabinet position. So
Ah,
I feel like at this point it's inevitable that everybody. It's like Oprah with the cause. You get a cabinet position. You get a cabinet position. Look under your chair. There's a
yep,
key there.
yep.
yeah.
Just-
I figure, if some of the people that he's trying to get into there. By the way, for those of you who are watching this later, this show was taped on the Thanksgiving before Donald Trump took office again for the second term. So
We just did a loop. We're in a Donald Trump loop. We just keep looping and looping. He's like every time you wake up, we're in Back to the Future, the bad future.
looping and looping.
We just keep looping.
Keep looping.
Just keep looping. Yep. Is that
Okay,
like is that like Dory and Finding Nemo? Just keep looping. Just keep looping.
Master Sergeant, I wouldn't have taken you for a Finding Nemo man, but that's adorable. I love it.
I like me some Finding Nemo. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We got to have us a Disney night sometime and just talk about Nemo and all of the other characters.
We are not doing a Nemo night on this show.
Oh, we should be doing a Nemo night.
No.
It'd be so cute. It'll be so cute, and we could have the
closest
pictures.
thing. Okay, the
pictures.
closest thing is we're gonna do Nightmare Before Christmas in a couple of weeks. So, be ready for that.
All right.
But other than that, yeah, we don't do Disney on the show for the most part. I just thought for Christmas, yeah, we might do Nightmare Before Christmas as kind of a thing for Christmas. There's not too many training films that involve Christmas. They're not like sacrilegious. So, okay. So, all right, let's get into our timeline because it's a long one.
This is a long one. We're going to have to go quickly. Like it's Universal Picture.
Munster Go Home.
That's the exterior.
Hey, wait now.
That's the exterior. We already are in
time.
We're not wasting no time at all.
I'm going to let her do this one.
And then there's some guys on there, and then there's this lady, and then okay, all right.
Yes,
I can do my auctioneer.
That's Lily Munster.
I'll do my auctioneer voice. Going once, going twice. We'll go fast.
So a hearse pulls up in front of the Munster house. We know it's the Munster house because we watched the show, right? And they pull Herman out of the back, and he's been sleeping in the back. And there's a guy across the street watching, little old man with an umbrella. And the minute Herman comes up off the slab and goes, "Oh, I must have fallen asleep."
That's exactly how he talks. Oh, you're so good at that. That's exactly
the guy's
how
umbrella, and he runs off, in super fast speed. They do that in these things. So Herman comes home, and there's Lily waiting for him at the front door. She looks very serious, and what's the wonderful occasion? And they're all waiting. They all look serious, and they're going to read a will. Evidently, one of his family members, Lord Munster of London, died and left him the family castle, and he is now Lord Munster.
Now, how big is the guy who plays Hoyman? Like, how tall is he? He's huge.
Fred Gwynn,
so big.
He's tall. He's like 6'7".
Oh my goodness, he could have been in the
maybe
WWF.
6'8". And he wears the Herman boots too, which become. I mean, he's like 7 foot tall when he's Herman.
Wow,
So,
like
Al Lewis is not that tall. He's kind of short.
Really?
So they're really funny to watch side by side, because Al Lewis is like half his size, and so is Lily. So he's tearing up the place. He's like, "Oh, I'm a lord, I'm Lord." And they decide they're gonna, move to London. And by the way, that's Debbie Watson. At the time, she was very popular in teen television shows and movies. She was like Gidget. In the 60s, and they cast her as Marilyn Munster in this movie alone. 2 other actresses played Marilyn Munster in the TV show, and other Marilyns came later when they did remakes. But this is the only time Debbie Watson actually played Marilyn, and she does a great job. She's really good in this.
Yeah. And there's the
I'm not just
Dragula.
saying that 'cause she's still living. Okay, maybe I am. No, she's good in this. She's cute.
You know, I bet people, you know, they were probably like, oh my God, is this what these people look like in color? Because you know, there's all black and white back then, and
Yes,
now
the
now
TV
they
show
get to
is
see
black
them.
and white.
Yeah, they were like, wow, look at that, look how, yeah,
So yeah, Grandpa's packing up his stuff from his lab downstairs into a little bag. He's got a little lab in a bag, and
lab in a bag.
Eddie Munster comes in. Eddie's played by Butch Patrick, who is again still alive, and there's Spot. This is the only time we see Spot in the movie. He's the pet that lives under the stairs. He's a fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah,
And I think we missed a slide where Butch Patrick's coming down with his surfboard, and it's a coffin lid. There it is. The Munster coach outside is I think George Barris created it. It's an awesome car that does car shows around the country, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
probably abroad too. It's a
Yeah.
great car. And later on in the film, we see the Dragula. I can't remember if that was just made for this movie, or
I
if
think
they
so.
actually used it on the TV show. But it's awesome, and it inspired Rob Zombie to create that great song, "The Dragula."
Yeah. You know, and speaking of Rob Zombie, you know, he made his own version of the Munsters movie here
Yeah, I know.
a couple of years ago.
We may do it someday on this show.
So,
I like Rob Zombie's music, but that movie was it's not the worst Munster remake. Okay, that was 1313 Mockingbird Lane. What the freaking hell are they thinking? But I don't think that think Zombie's wife was the right choice for Lily in that.
like Lily, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
She should have played Marilyn.
Fantastic actor, and I thought he did a great job as grandpa. But what the hell was going on with that Sam Elliott mustache, that handlebar mustache thing going on there?
Yeah.
Grandpa's never had that. Wait a minute.
No. Yeah. Well, you know,
Eyebrows,
got to make it different. But yeah, the mustache just was like, nope,
that really put me off.
nope. Yep. Anyway,
All
didn't
right.
didn't mean to digress there.
No, we do it a lot. Can't do it a lot today because we got a lot of show here. We got a lot of. Now I love the fact that Herman just puts the key up over the door when he locks the door when they leave. And then they head out to the Munster coach. And then we see Munster Hall, all the way over in London or near London. And it's a nice, spooky, creepy castle. And we have two guys loading boxes from the back of or from the basement of the hall there. Joey is played by none other than Richard Dawson from Hogan's Heroes, and went on to host the Family Feud and kiss a lot of women.
Yep.
The other guy is Arthur Malay, I think is his name. He was in Hook. He played Toodles, the guy that lost his marbles. He did a lot of characters in television shows and movies and stuff.
Yep.
He's a British actor, and again, Dawson's British. The only one that really is not British in the English crew over on this side of the drink is Roger, who we'll meet in a minute, and he's played by Robert Pine, Chris Pine's dad, who is best known as the desk sergeant on Chips,
Right.
with Poncherello and the other guy.
And we saw a picture there of the butler, played by John Carradine.
That's John Carradine, of all people.
That's John
He
Carradine,
actually played Herman's boss on the TV show, which is funny.
Yeah. So
The head of the mortuary, but he wasn't all decked up with the orange eyebrows and wig and everything and sideburns. He looks really good in this, and he's funny. He's funny in this. He's very deadpan.
Yeah. Yep.
So no, I take that back. He is also not British, but he plays again in this. He does.
Yeah.
So you corrected me. All right. So they're getting aboard the boat, and everybody's looking at them, and then Lily's wondering why they're looking at him, which is funny in itself because it's obvious they're monsters. But he's got Lord Munster on the back of his jacket, like in sequence.
Yeah.
So Grandpa tries to put the bite on the the guy who's holding his hand out for a tip, and he gets clonked by Lily. And a drunkard shows up and knocks on their door. He's looking around for his wife. And she shows up a little too late because he bumps into Herman. Luckily, he's so drunk he really can't see straight. And
yeah, bit of shtick here. Yep.
Yeah, you know, sticky shtick.
Yep.
There's a lot of that going on in this. The boat whistle goes off. They start moving, and immediately, like the second they start moving, Herman gets seasick. So Grandpa's like, come on, Herman, take one of my potions. You'll be fine. And he's like, no, I'm not going to take it. No, you're not going to make me. Down in the cargo hold, Eddie Munster is playing around in somebody's Formula race car. And Marilyn comes down and chastises him, and he gets up and he skulks off. And then she gets in the car and starts playing around, which is funny. And then the driver shows up. It's Roger Mosby, who's a race car driver from London, and that's Chris Pine's dad. Very handsome.
Pine. Yep. Now, Robert Pine. Yep. Now, don't he look like Carrie Elways? See, that's what I thought. That's Carrie Elways, but then I thought, nope, that's way before his time.
No, he'd have been way too. He would have been like sperm at that time. So,
hard to get that to act.
So this show is not for kids, folks. Just let me say that right here and right now. We say adult things on the show, and sometimes there's gory, graphic stuff. That's not going to happen in the show, but we might say something adult.
Look at these faces.
We tend to do that. So those kids are shocked because he's looking at her legs already in that car. When she steps out of that car, he is looking at her legs, man. He's a leg man.
Now, this graphic here, I gotta say, was from, there's a guy named, he's an artist and a show host. His name is Manny Zamora. And he hosts the show on Mondays. That's two guys and a gal. And he actually put this together, and he also put the tech gremlins. He's like this master artist. He's absolutely phenomenal, and he's super sexy too, by the way, for you girls. Yeah, super sexy. He looks a little like you, Master Sergeant, but he's got a little bit more of the Kavorka than you got for some reason. I don't know how to explain it.
So he's a handsome devil then, eh?
He's very, very hot, very, very hot. I would say.
Suspect that if we shave all that foliage off your face, you would look that good. That's my guess.
There's a resemblance. There's a resemblance, but he doesn't have your gruff demeanor. He's a little bit more of like a creative artist, a little bit more like a little more sensual, I would say, than you. But I like your gruffness too. I could take it. I like it, but you already know what I like. I like the BDE with the Roland. Roland gives me everything I already need, so I'm good.
Well,
and you are confident knowing that he is your man. He's not going anywhere.
Well, just I'm from Yonkers. I'm from New York. We don't let nothing bat an eyelash. To be honest, I'll knock a chica out. I don't give a crap. You know what I mean? Someone try to step to my property.
Again,
I will defend the block. I don't care about nothing. Nobody with an accent. Nobody talking about Russia. Whatever. I don't give. I'm just saying. I'm not intimidated.
I'm sorry.
I am New York strong, baby. I am New York strong all day, every day. We grow them hard.
Millie from the block.
I'm Millie from the block. I don't give a crap about nobody.
Network we're on.
and you know what? And I got Roland or the lock and key. I watch everything. I watch everything he's doing, and so he knows where it stands. He knows I'm Millie from the block. Thank you very much, Master.
Oh, you don't want to do that now. That's bad. That's not that might send him in the other direction. Anyway,
we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Okay. Well, I'm just saying I'm not above. Anyways, there's a B word, a little B word, but I can stomp on a B.
No.
All right, we'll move along.
Let's not do that. All right.
Oh, there's some legs.
Oh, yes, well, of course you can be in my car. Yes. Baby, you can drive my car. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, I'm going to be a star. So it all starts, Roger and Marilyn are becoming a thing. Meanwhile, back at Munster Hall, it's the daytime now, and we actually meet the Munsters from England. Eddie is the Butch Patrick. Freddie is Terry Thomas. the gap-toothed comedian from England. He is off the chain in this. He's just chewing up scenery in this. Hermione Gingold is Lady Effigy. She's the matriarch of the clan. And we have another woman there that looks like Agnes Moorehead. I have a feeling they wanted to get Agnes Moorehead for this, and evidently she couldn't do it. And I'm sorry, I should look this actress's name up because she is good at this. Give me 1 second. Jean Arnold. Jean Arnold. She plays Grace Munster.
Grace. Yep.
Let me write that down. And she does a great hiss, like a cat hiss.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
Ironically, her name is Grace.
Yeah.
And Freddie is very unhappy because he wants to be Lord Munster. And Lady Effigy's like, "Don't worry, we're going to take care of these monsters from America. We're going to scare them off, you see." That was my Hermione Gingold. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's do it. Yes.
Oh, that's really good. That's a good. Yep. Yeah, look at them teeth, man. They're showing off some chompers here.
Yeah, that's why he gets so many great comedy roles because the gap is just, man, it's out there. It's like David Letterman, it's there.
Yeah. Yep.
So we find out that the family is doing nefarious business in the area under the tutelage of a mysterious local named the Griffin. And nobody knows who the Griffin really is. And we suspect that it might be actually Lady Effigy, or it might be somebody else. We're not sure yet. So John Carradine shows up as Crookshank, right?
Yes.
Crookshank, and he says, "Madam, we are ready for the Americans." You could tell John Carradine's having fun with this. He gets to play super old, and actually at this time of his life, he was actually pretty spry. It wasn't until like 10, 15 years later that he actually started to actually be like he's being in this movie here. But anyway, Freddie explains to Grace that he has sent a fruit basket with a bomb in it. The bomb is in the apple. So Grandpa and Lily are trying to convince Herman that he's being silly and just take the pill. And he goes, "Well, you take one first." So Grandpa takes one, and it turns out that he takes a wolf pill by mistake. So
this happened to me so many times with my girlfriends. I'll tell you, we'll be at a party. We'll say, "No, you take it. No, you take it." And before you know, someone's getting hair where they're not supposed to have hair. I'm just going to say it happens in New York all the time. It happened to me in LA once. This is before I got into the NASA and I cleaned up a little bit. But anyways, it can happen to a nice, honest girl any day of the year. It can happen.
That's good. I can see you being a Lily Munster here.
Thank you. It's true. So
Grandpa turns into a wolf, and for some reason, one of the guys from Mayberry is on the ship. He's like, "Hey, look at there! It's a dog," and it is. It's not really a wolf, I don't think. I think that's a dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Lily goes down and talks to Grandpa. He's in cage number 13, ironically. And that's a dog. Painted to look like a wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably like a German Shepherd.
They explained to her that the dog is not going to be able to. It's going to be quarantined for like months. And she's like, "Oh, that's not good." And she goes back and she tells Herman, "Look, you gotta break Grandpa out of the kennel." And he's like, "Oh, I want to go to dinner with the captain. We're gonna sit at the captain's table." She makes him go downstairs and save Grandpa. So she takes the apple from him. He's about to eat the apple, and it's ticking, and he goes, "Oh, he's got worms." Sticky. And she throws it out the window, and of course it blows up right after she throws it out the window, just in time. Either that or it was a water activated bomb. That's possible. Roger is making time out on the deck with Marilyn, and she's afraid because Marilyn unfortunately has had a lot of guys run off because she doesn't realize it. She thinks she's hideously ugly because her family has been saying that to her whole goddamn life. And she's got issues. She's got abandonment issues. So anyway, Herman goes down, he talks to Grandpa, and then the guy from Mayberry shows up again with the other guy. and they see Herman and they freak out. And I mean, who wouldn't freak out if they saw that? You know, flat-headed green Munster guy, you know, holding the big dog. So the other guy goes up and bangs his head on the ceiling. The other guy jumps into one of those, I don't know, one of those things that they have on boats, you know, for no apparent reason.
Well, they're
supposed to throw trash down them. I don't know.
They're air vents.
Is it an air vent?
Those are air vents, yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what the damn things are for, but they use them in just about every movie about ships somewhere. You'll see them. So yeah, he jumps down the air vent. I hope it doesn't lead to something that's like on fire. But anyway, it's like it's a chimney. So again, she's telling Roger, you know, usually when I get, you know, serious with guys, they run off. You know, they see things and they get scared and they run off. And so don't lead me on. And they kiss. And while they're kissing, Roger looks over her shoulder and he sees Herman carrying the wolf. And he's, did you see that? It was a big, huge monster. He's carrying a wolf in his arms. And she's like, well, Roger, I told you. Oh, and she gets all angry and upset. Sticky stick. There's a lot of sticky stick here, but it's fun, you know. And then the drunk guy comes out. He staggers out, and Roger goes, do you see things? And he goes, all the time, buddy, all the time. You know, they should have had a guy going, he had a little drum riff every few seconds in this film. They like all this stuff going on. Okay, so the boat lands, and they're going through customs. Lily is wearing Grandpa around her neck. Like it's a stole, like it's a stole with, you know, a tail and an asshole. Careful, don't get too close to that lady's stole. It's gonna spray you.
Well, the drunk guy does. He gets a little close.
He goes to touch it, and Grandpa nips at his hand. The drunk guy, of course, is right behind him. And his wife is just there for reaction shots. She doesn't get a line in the film. Although she is a character actress, she's done a lot of TV shows and stuff. I recognize her face.
Nah, she has a couple of lines, but yeah, she's just kind of there.
So yeah, the shtick there is that the grandpa takes a bite at him, and then goes back to looking down on her shoulders. So then they walk out of customs. Got a nice little stage prop guy carrying a big box, you know, on a gurney, a dolly, and Grandpa sees a black cat and chases after it. And then Grandpa runs behind a barrel and comes out as Grandpa. He's changed from a wolf instantly. Now, usually when Grandpa changes, there's a big, huge puff of smoke cloud and fire and everything. But in this case, he just runs behind the barrel and comes out as Grandpa on the other side. And he bangs his head, bumps his head, sticky stick. Mm-hmm. I know he's got a line here because Al Lewis always has a line after these things, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
I think my favorite line in this is when they're on the ship and Herman becomes sick. He goes, "Ooh, the mighty Lord Munster is about to heave ho."
Yeah, that
that was a good line.
That's a pretty good one.
So, said again. He's got those kind of lines. So anyway, yeah, we got the signs. The Munster coach coming up to the signs. Luckily, they didn't quarantine the Munster coach. And what the hell is that? Oh, this is the sign for the pub.
Yep, the bird in the bush.
the bird in the bush. They got that past his censors. Rated G, folks. And on the wall there is the guy who runs the bar. Him and his daughter run the bar, and he's a war veteran. And somebody's playing darts, and it turns out to be the two guys that deliver boxes from Munster Hall. And I think her name is Molly, is the name of the daughter, who's the barkeep. Mm-hmm. And her father again owns the bird in the bush. Yeah. I don't know why that's so much funnier now when we're saying it on social media than it was when I just saw the movie. But anyway, so you got these two guys, and they're talking. They're two very British guys, and they're talking to Joey and his partner. And they're saying, yeah, you know, it's scary, you know, delivering boxes from Munster Hall. And, you know, Molly's asking, you ever look in those boxes? And they're like, no, you know, we do our job. We just pick up the boxes, deliver them, and we make our money, you know. But it's Munster Hall, you know, it's pretty scary in there.
Yeah. And she's very flirty. She flirts, especially with Dawson here.
She's a flirtatious wench.
She's a flirtatious wench. Yep.
And then Grandpa comes in. Anybody know the way to Munster Hall?
Looking all
big fanfare with fog and everything. And then I love this guy's little collar just goes ding.
Yeah.
Sticky stick.
Sticky stick. Yep.
And Dawson surprisingly plays all of this very serious. So when all the other guys are doing sticky stick, Dawson is just kind of really reacting to what's going on, like he's there, like it's real.
Yeah,
so
he plays it straight.
He plays it completely straight. The other one mugs a little bit, you know, Malay. He mugs up a little bit, and he's got one of those rubbery faces that, you know, it leads to that or loans to that. So this is the best take in the movie, is right after Grandpa leaves and after they've done all that sticky stick, they all take a drink of their drink. Like, okay, that's it. It's over. So back at Munster Hall, Crookshank, Carradine, says, Madam, there's a call coming up the lane. Oh, yes. Well, we'll get ready for them. And she says, Freddie, you're gonna play in you're going to put on the ghost outfit, and Grace, you're going to work the panels, and we're going to scare the dickens out of them, and then they won't be here by morning, and we'll keep Munster Hall for ourselves. They're going to scare them away. So Crookshank looks out the front door, and that's what he sees, the Munsters when they arrive. Now, he must be thinking in his mind, I can't believe these guys are really uglier Munsters than our family is. But there it is. And they love it. Look at them. They're just, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's this dilapidated, scary ass castle. So, but they love it. It's like, oh my God, it's a dream come true. So Crookshank turns back to Madame Effigy and goes, the Americans are here, Mom.
Yep.
Very deadpan. And she goes, all right, let us prepare for them. Take them to their rooms. So, I can't remember if they use these pajamas that Herman wears in the TV show, but I actually saw somebody do a cosplay of this. It was fantastic. He had some kind of padding, you know, like that under his shoulders. It made his shoulders look humongous. And he had the gown with the polka dots, the multicolored polka dots. He must have seen that sheet or something in the local, you know, cloth shop and said, oh my God, that's Herman Munster's pajamas. And he won the competition. He had the Herman Munster mask and he had the pajamas. He was perfect. Anyway, so him and Lily are in bed. By the way, Yvonne DiCarlo, I got to give her props for some great acting in this. She's having fun. You could tell she's having fun. This was a serious actress. And like they said, when they did like the Naked Gun pictures and the airplane pictures, all of these serious actors were in these movies and they just trashed their careers.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen went on to become a big comedy star, you know, but again, he was a very serious actor before he was in Airplane. So it's kind of the same here with Yvonne DiCarlo. She was this very serious actress, and then she started doing this, and you know, it's comedy. She does a wonderful job at it. So here they are getting in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and then the panels start opening up, and then you see skeletons with glowing eyes. You see a dead like vampire chick. You see a guy hanging in the window there, and then Terry Thomas comes out as a ghost. And this is so funny because you know not only that it's Terry Thomas, but you can see that huge gap in his teeth through the hole in his sheet. And he's like, die, die, die. And they hold up the candle and he sees their faces and goes, wah! And does a huge scare take where he like runs through the wall. The panel's already closed. He runs right through it. And of course, Lily and Herman are like, oh. They're loving it. They're like, oh my God, they did such a great job of making us feel at home. So, Sticky Stick. And they go to sleep, and Lily actually has a lily, and she goes to sleep like she's dead. It's great. It's a really funny take. So, did it stick? No, there we go.
Oh, there's.
He's here. There, she's lying down with a lily on her chest, and they put a really funny nightcap on her too in this. Again, kudos to the costume department. Very colorful. Again, Batman had come out just before this, like a year before this, and I mean it was all about bright, vibrant colors in this kind of thing. So next morning, the Munster family from England are trying to have breakfast, and Freddie is telling how horrible it was last night, and I can barely eat. And he's like wolfing down food, which is funny. And the Munsters come in, and Madame Effigy's monocle drops into her glass of tea, sticky stick. And Herman is like, you know, how do you describe it? He's like, oh, I'm Lord Munster now. You know, he's all proud and trying to be proper, and you know, his whole family is kind of like Americans, like, hey, here we are. And Herman goes over, Madame Effigy picks up her chair, gives her a kiss. You can see she's just totally disgusted on her face when he's kissing her. I love that. I didn't realize Hermione Gingold had a mustache until this movie. Maybe they painted it on. But just to try to make her look, you know, unattractive like the other family members. There's Grace. She goes, oh, look, Marilyn, you could take some lessons from Grace. Look how pallid and pale her skin is. And she's like, she does a little cat hiss thing, which turns out to be her thing. She does it like 2 or 3 times in the film. So and Herman goes to Freddie. He goes, if you touch me, I'll yell rape or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So Crookshank takes him, I guess, to another room to eat. I don't know. He gets him out of there, and then Freddie starts beating his head against the wall. I want to be Lord Munster. I do. I'll beat my head against the wall until I get to be Lord Munster. And then Madame Effigy tells him, don't worry, we've got the griffin on it. If the griffin doesn't work, we'll call the wolf. Oh, man, that's all you had to say was called a wolf, man. That's 20 years later. 30 years later. The wolf. That would have been a nice cameo. So anyway, they're trying to get her to tell them who the griffin is, because evidently Madame Effigy knows, but she's not telling them. So back at the bar, at the Bird in the Bush. Whoa. We meet Bernard Fox, who plays Dr. Bombay on Bewitched. I was just having a few fast falls from my nurse. And he plays Roger's father. We don't know that yet, but he is the Lord Mosby. Or I'm sorry, Squire Mosby. And after he leaves, they get them all riled up about there's a race coming up. And evidently the Munsters and the Mosbys have been in this race fighting each other for decades. And since like the early 19th century, early 20th century. So they hate each other. And most people hate the Munsters, you know, because they like poison wells and shit like that, you know, and do stuff like that. They're not nice people. But he bumps literally on a bicycle into Marilyn Munster, and she picks him up off the ground, and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, it's my fault." And he goes, "Oh, well, did you say it was your fault? I haven't met a teen who says it's their fault in a long time. Well, come meet our son." He brings her home, and it's Roger. So they go and kiss. Oh, that's Grandpa. So they go and kiss right away in front of the parents. And the father's like, well, I didn't think he'd go for that fast, which is a great line. I paraphrase, but it's something like that. Crookshank talked to Grandpa about the race, and you know how. And again, we get more backstory on the race. And the Munsters have won it many times. And the Mosbys have won it many times. You know, they go back and forth. So anyway, while they're waiting at, the tea table out back, he shows the cup the cup to Marilyn, and she goes, "Oh, I've heard about this race. My great grandfather, blah 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 blah, Munster has won this a couple of times." You go, "You're a Munster," and they throw her out basically, or they threaten to throw her out, and she goes, "Well, you don't have to throw me out because I'm leaving, because you don't have to be so rude. I'm sorry, I'm out of here." And then she goes by Roger at the front door and gives him some, another one of those, I don't understand women moments. Because he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He doesn't know his parents just totally rude and were threatening to sick the dogs on her and stuff like that. So she's out the door and he's like, "Well, come on, what did I do?" Herman is writing a letter back home. Not sure who he's writing it to. Maybe Spot. And he's explaining things that are happening, about the race and all that. And again, it's Herman. He's explaining that Lily goes to town to get groceries and things, and her and Eddie are not making friends as quickly as they would like. And she gets up to the shop, and the shop owner turns the sign to say closed, so she can't come in. And then Eddie comes up to her and says, "What's a tomato?" And she goes, "Oh, that's the British word for tomato." He goes, "Oh, that's what that is. Those boys just threw some tomatoes at me." And then we see some really nasty looking kids. And they're saying, "Munster, Munster, die, die, die. Munster, Munster," blah, 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 whatever. They've got like a little poem for him already. "Munster, Munster, evil eye. Munster, Munster, die, die, die." Something like that. Anyway.
Yep, that's it right there.
Yeah, so the family's telling Herman, about all the problems they're having, with Roger and with the kids in town and everything. And he says, "Well, obviously I'm going to have to run in this race and protect our family name, and Grandpa's okay with it. And they also, Grandpa hears about the secret of Munster Hall. There's a secret of Munster Hall. And he tells Herman, we're going to have to inspect and check on this. So that night in his pajamas, he puts a bucket and some pillows on there and a mop on the bed and covers it up so that Lily will think it's him in bed next to her. And they go downstairs to see what they can find in the basement. And Lily actually wakes up at one point, and she touches the Herman next to her, and she goes back to sleep. So it's okay. So they come across bars, and Herman quickly opens the bars because he's very strong. Eddie Munster wakes up Freddie, and he makes him kiss Wolf Wolf to leave him alone so he can go to bed. He goes, "Dad went to bed and he didn't kiss Wolf Wolf." And he doesn't want to do it at first, but then he goes, "I'm not going to leave here until you kiss Wolf Wolf or you read me a story." "All right, give it to me." "Yeah, good." And what's funny about the scene, too, is he pulls a gun. He sleeps with a gun under his pillow. And he pulls a gun on Eddie. And he realizes it's Eddie Munster, and he puts the gun down. But and he does a little shtick where he takes a drink when he goes to the door, and then he takes a bigger drink when he goes away from Eddie at the door. So again, Terry Thomas does the best with it. He does what he does a lot of funny stuff with it. He's got a lot going on. So, and I don't know what he did between 63 and 66 here. 63, as I'm mentioning, because he was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World with a lot of other, comical actors and comedians in that movie. And it was probably the biggest movie of its time, a comedy movie. This is where Lily wakes up and realizes it's a bucket and a mob, and it's not Herman. A nice, great reaction there. Oh, so she's like, "Oh yeah, what am I going to do with that man?" And they're at this point, they're getting through all these traps to try to get to the secret of Munster Hall. And here's like an acid, right? Isn't that this part?
Well, yeah, it's a little bit earlier. Yeah,
they've already gotten past that. There was an acid thing, like a big boiling thing of acid. I realize it's an old nasty castle, but who would put that down there? I mean, knowing that you have to go down there to check on what's in the basement. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's inconvenient. So Joey and his friend are trying to pick up another box, and they run into Grandpa and Herman, and they all react. And the other two guys run out the door. Richard Dawson, Joey's character, punches the truck and leaves the other guy behind. The other guy ends up running fast enough to where he runs past the vehicle. And that's the funny sticky stick there. So they get down to the main room down in the basement there. And it turns out that there's the box that the guys were carrying out is full of money. It's full of British pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the room, they see a printing press, and they find out that the secret of Munster Hall is they're making counterfeit money. So Herman is, call Batman. Car 54, where are you?
I thought that was funny because, Fred
joke.
Gwynn was in Car 54.
Yeah, Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis were both in Car 54.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of little camp.
Before they did the Munsters. Yeah.
Little callback to the old show.
I'm fairly certain that's why Al Lewis got the job as Grandpa, because he was in Car 54 with Fred Gwynn. Yep. And obviously Fred Gwynn got Herman Munster because of his height and because of his build. And his ability to mug for the camera and do comedy. So he probably suggested Al Lewis, or who knows, they might even had the same agent. But yeah, I mean, they both work well together in Car 54. So obviously Al Lewis got the part, and he was Grandpa for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, he was pretty typecast.
Yeah.
So okay, so Herman goes back to his room. Lily catches him and he goes, "Oh, I was going to get a glass of water." And she has to accept that. He's not going to give her any more than that. And so she has to go to bed. What else, is Herman Munster going to do? So she has to accept it. So the next morning at breakfast, they're talking about the race, and the Griffin has already put plans into place to kill Herman Munster because he's going to be driving in the race. And they're going to try to make it look like Roger did it. Roger Mosby. And again, it's all the part of the Griffin's plan. So Grace and Freddie are very excited. And they're going to have to kidnap Lily and Grandpa to keep them out of the way. So Lily is not cool with Herman racing in the race. He's not a race car driver. He doesn't have any experience. So she's like, "You're going to get yourself killed." Typical wife. Yeah. And she's outnumbered here because Grandpa's like, "No, I'm with Herman, and we're gonna do great. We're gonna soup up this car, and he's gonna win that race." And then Herman takes the car around out of the courtyard there and crashes it immediately, which is funny, sticky stick. We see tires rolling by, and you see a big explosion from behind the wall. And of course, Herman survives everything. So Roger is delivering flowers, and he gives them to Crookshank, and he's like, "I've left several messages. Are you sure she's getting his message?" "Yes, sir. I'm glad to help with the name of love, sir, and romance." And he gives him the box of roses or flowers or whatever, and he just tosses them. He tosses them right there in the bushes. A great little sticky stick bit for Carradine. Marilyn also explains to her mom or her aunt, that Roger, every time she calls the house or she goes to the door, they say that he's too busy and he'll get back to her, and he never does. So the families are working against Romeo and Juliet here. Mm-hmm. And they're just not being nice. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to keep them away from each other because they got to kill Herman.
Yeah. I like Lily's line here. Says, "Oh, you got a broken heart. Ha. Try having 10 steaks put into it."
A wooden stake driven through your heart. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that is a good line. Again, Yvonne DiCarlo making the best of her situation.
Yeah.
She made good money off of this at the time. And she was enjoying it.
She's committed to the bit.
Now, Grandpa finds a casket, a nice gold casket with a purple lining, and he goes, "How does it feel? We're going to make the chassis out of this." "Oh, I feel great. It feels great." And then they have some lights that they're going to turn into headlights that are like lanterns. And Eddie's found some organ pipes they're going to use as exhaust pipes. This is all stuff that they threw in because of Roger Barris's design for the Dragula. Mm-hmm. And Herman catches himself on fire by accident, and we got a sticky stick where he goes and runs around and puts his ass in a like a horse trough that's there for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh. So, okay, there he is, cooling down. There's the face of relief right there. Back at the pub, they're taking bets on the big race, and Freddie comes in, and Freddie bets on Roger Mosby, which surprises everybody. They thought he was going to bet on Herman Munster, the cousin. And then we see the Dragula pull out. It looks fantastic. It looks really cool. And Marilyn and Eddie they're nodding their approval. Hey, that looks cool. I liking that. And it's just a cool looking drag racer.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's probably not the type of car for this race, but it's just so cool. Let's let it ride. And actually, at the beginning of the race, he actually leaves. He gets off on his back wheels. The front wheels actually leave the like a lot of drag race cars do.
Yeah, just a little wheelie there. Yep.
You got all that Herman in the back. Tips it right up. So finally, Freddie gets. And again, we don't see the scene, but somehow he gets the jump on Grandpa and Lily and ties them up down in the basement. And he's watching over him, and he explains of course, as they do in all the movies in the 60s, they explain, the bad people explain the entire plot, the entire plan to whoever's captured.
Mm-hmm.
Why they didn't just kill him, they never explained that.
Nope.
And can you kill Grandpa and Lily? So Marilyn and Eddie are in the stands. Roger's getting ready for the race, and he gets conked out, and they put another Roger with the same outfit and same helmet into his car. Roger's pit crew is involved in this whole scam. She's evidently been hired, they've evidently been hired by the Griffin. So the Griffin gets into the car and takes over Roger's place, and we know it's the Griffin because they have the glove with the Griffin on it. Mm-hmm. And they have a little music playing there, so we know that it's the Griffin. The Griffin's actually pulling off the plan themselves. So the race is about to begin. Herman actually finally rolls up. Grandpa and Lily do a quick flip to get out of their ropes. A little lesson I learned from Houdini, who was around at the turn of the century,
Yeah.
So obviously Grandpa's very old. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And
nice little stunt too. So.
Yeah, it's obvious that it's two stunt people.
Yeah, but
all these scenes coming up, it's very obvious that they have a second unit with these obvious stunt people doing like horse maneuvers, motorcycle rides, and stuff like that coming up. And it's just very obvious. It's not Al Lewis, it's not Yvonne DiCarlo, but there it is. It's just people in makeup. But Herman shows up and takes his space. And again, that Dracula just looks so cool. And Roger's parents are sitting behind Marilyn Munster and Eddie Munster. And they're yelling for Roger, and she and Eddie are yelling for Herman, and the race starts. And again, the Dragula starts off on its back wheels. Excuse me. I ran out of drink.
Oh no!
Come along, Roger. Eddie sees the kids from town down below, and they have more tomatoes. So he moves out of the way just in time, and Roger's father gets hit with the tomatoes. Oh, I say, what's this? What have we here?
It's a tomato.
It's a tomato, sir.
Yep.
So that's a sticky stick.
And more sticky stick. Yep, there it is. Splat.
Black. Joey and the other guys show up to pick up the last box from the room there. And Freddie, this is what he's been waiting for. He's been waiting for these two guys to show up so they can get the last box. And then he's going to scamper off to the race. He wants to see the race. He wants to see Herman die. Mm-hmm. So he says, if you see anything in there, just ignore it. like that would really happen, if they saw, Grandpa and Lily. But anyway, so he takes off to watch the race. The race is well into play now. Excellent music. And Herman's doing very well for a driver that has no experience whatsoever. Whereas Roger has been doing this, that's his livelihood. He goes around the world and he races. So he runs, or I should say the Griffin runs Herman off the road. Herman keeps giving him get naughty, naughty. There's actually one point where he gets too close and Herman reaches out and pushes the car away. Sticky stick. A lot of sticky stick coming up here, folks. So Herman goes off the road, comes back on, says, well, I guess it's time to take it out of first. And he cranks it up to go, which is fast fourth. And it hauls Boogie past all of the other drivers. The two guys got the last two boxes, in the back. And this is a great shot where Lily and Grandpa come out of the crates. And the two guys are going, oh, what's that? Your stomach grumbling? You know, that kind of thing, sticky stick. And then they turn around and they see Grandpa and Lily come out of those coffins and wow, they just run the truck right into the river and fall out. And amazingly, there is an unaccompanied motorcycle with a sidecar.
Just out.
This happens to be right there. So Roger, aka the Griffin, runs Herman into the fence there next to the crowd. It's fence pieces all up into the crowd. Luckily, a stake doesn't go through Marilyn's heart. And the father's like, oh, that's not like all Roger. And Marilyn turns and goes, oh, I'm starting to believe it's just like your Roger. And then we see Roger, and he's all tied up in a shed somewhere close by. I love the music for the Munsters. It's really cool music. Anyway, Roger's trying to get free. He's trying to break free. He's not as good though as Grandpa. He didn't know Houdini.
Nope.
We got 4 minutes to showtime. Okay, here are the obvious stunt people doing motorcycle sticky stick, waving their arms and stuff like that. And then there's a tree. Here is Roger's pit crew as they shoot Herman's tire. And Herman puts his handkerchief in the tire and then just blows the tire back up, puts two pieces of tape on it, and it holds. Not only does it hold with his like 300-pound body in the car. So yeah, Grandpa and Lily are split up by a tree here. Sticky stick. And his line here is woman driver. And they find horses. So Freddie shows up and joins Grace, and he sits on a little portable chair there to watch the race. And she gets him up to speed. Then we show Grandpa and Lily's stunt doubles running off on the horses. The cars go by again. And Roger, again, runs another car off the road and into the beer tent. And there's Roger, gets a bucket on his head. It's probably the same bucket they used in the other scene. You know, you got to reuse these things. It looks to be the same bucket. So some sticky stick. They're riding the horses, and Grandpa gets knocked off his horse. And Yvonne doesn't realize it. I'm sorry, Lily doesn't realize it right away. And he decides to take a wolf pill again, since we've already established what the wolf pill does. Something there next to it says, was it clean?
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean, that's right, because he makes a joke earlier that I hope it's not a Mr. Clean pill. But there's also a scene where he takes a pill and he opens up his jacket, and one of the jars says dragon on it. Anyway, but that's the Mr. Clean pill. Freddie's very upset that Herman isn't dead yet. And Grace taunts him a little bit, and he falls off his chair. The chair actually kind of goes into the ground as he pounds his knee, and then he falls off. Grandpa turns into a wolf and is immediately chased by the fox. The people they stole the horses from were fox, hound people that were going to a fox hunt. So now Grandpa has to be chased. Here again is the Griffin doing sticky stick with Herman, and she sprays his goggles with shaving cream, which causes him to go off the road. But he comes right back on again. He is undeterred. Again, Herman is a better race car driver than we thought he'd be. He runs through a haystack, and we find two people trying to get it on in a haystack. They're just trying to get their Ficky Waka on. Oh, damn, we just made it to an hour. Lily rides up aside Herman, and on an obvious fake horse, Giovanni Carlo says, "They're trying to kill you!" And he's like, "Oh, hi, honey. Love you too." and he boogies on. Shake stick. Grandpa, to try to get away from the dogs, runs into a pipe there. The dogs go by. Sticky stick. He comes out. I don't know how in hell and heaven Lily got in front of Herman again, because she's on a horse, or she fell off a horse, but she was on a horse. But she ends up getting in front of Herman and the Griffin again, and she moves a sign into the road, causing him to go on the wrong road. She doesn't want Herman to go on the wrong road, but he's close behind the Griffin. He ends up going the same road. And that leads them to a dangerous cattle loading place. See, danger cattle loading ramp. We have sticky stick where they go through the cars, the train cars as they're moving. Now, somehow Lily gets in front of him again. I don't know how. I don't know how she does it, but there it is. Maybe she turned into a bat. So they should have shown that. So she moves a hay cart in front of the road now. The Griffin spins out of the way so it doesn't hit the hay cart, but Herman goes right under it. And his head breaks the cart in half. And guess who falls out of the hay cart? Same couple that were trying to get their freak on earlier. Sticky stick. It's the same couple, folks. I went back and looked just to make sure.
It's the same,
same clothes, same couple. They're just trying to find the right haystack. They get their sticky stick. Grandpa's been treed by the hounds, and he's changed back into Grandpa. Roger finally gets free and gets out of the little shed there, the little work shed. But it's too late for Herman because his pit crew have dumped oil across the track. Now, Herman hits the oil. His car spins around. He goes over the crossing. I'm sorry, what is the end of the race?
The finish line.
The finish line. Yeah, thank you. He goes, that's why I have you on the show, because I never remember these things. I always have these brain farts. He goes past the finish line backwards and then crashes into the thing. And of course, he's okay. So he goes out into the street there like an idiot because he's Herman. And he was waving at the crowd and he's raising his hands over his head. Hey, victorious, I win. And the Griffin tries to hit him. And that's when we see the Griffin's car hits Herman and stops dead still, smashes into pieces. And the Griffin goes flying into the fish and chips cart, into the fish and chips kiosk. And we find out when they take her helmet off, that it's Molly, the barkeep, the bar guy's daughter. And even he didn't know that she was the Griffin. He's like, I knew she knew too much about racing or something. I think he says something of that nature.
Yeah.
Now, he could have been in on it, but, he's smart. He might be the Griffin and he might have just sent his daughter. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just pontificating here. So please take her away. And Freddie and Grace realize, the jig is up. And they haul boogie. Roger meets up with Marilyn and he goes, I was knocked over the head and I was conked out and I was put in a terrible, he explains that he was kidnapped. Anyway, so Marilyn she's a needy gal. She just immediately goes for it and gives him a nice big hug and a kiss. Most girls will go, oh yeah, right. You tried to kill my dad and this is how you come back with that. So, because she didn't see that they picked up Molly, and anyway, but she gives him a nice big hug and a kiss. So they're back together again. She needs a man. She really needs a man. Her parents have been scaring these guys, or her uncle and aunt have been scaring these guys away. So anyway, Freddie and Grace head for the family car, one of the family cars. And I know we're over time, but come on now. Herman slings tires over them, and we get the last little hiss from Grace. And then Madame Effigy and Crookshank get in the back of the car. I don't know why Crookshank is not driving, why he gets in the back of the car with her. but there it is. Maybe he's closer to Madame Effigy than we thought. And it turns out that Lily and Eddie Munster are in the front seat of the car, and the jig is up. So the Munsters have decided that they're going to go back to America where they belong, and they're gonna donate the family Munster Hall to the town. And Roger and Marilyn are saying their goodbyes. He says, "Well, I'll be racing quite a bit in America." So he's like, "I'll visit you, and we can do booty calls." She needs a man. She needs a man. She has no problem with this. So he says, let me give you a goodbye kiss. And she's like, "Oh, remember the last time you kissed me, you saw things." And so he kisses her, and sure enough, he looks and he sees all the Munsters looking at him through the windows. Sticky stick. And it's such a beautiful full moon night. They're like, "Oh, it's a shame that it's such good weather, and it's terrible for us driving." There it is, Dragon Pill. And the grandpa does a rain pill up in the clouds, and it starts snowing. Ting, 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 snowing all over the Munster coach, damn it. Marilyn shows up, hops in the back with Eddie, and they start making it through the snow before it gets too thick. They don't have snow tires on that thing. And we hear the Munster theme. Da, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, ba, da, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da. And that's it. Cute little sticky movie. Fun for the whole family. Again, I thought this would be probably the best thing to do for the Thanksgiving week. Kind of a family movie. I guess we could have done Addams Family Values, which actually has a Thanksgiving scene at the camp, whatever we call it, with Wednesday taking over the camp, which is kind of funny. We'll do that next year. That'll give us something to do next year, if we're still doing this. So this was show number 159. The Munster Go Home. And hope you guys enjoyed it with us. Do we have a Hazard? Do you have anything you want to add to this?
I love it. I'm a Munsters gal, like I said, so the sticky stick works for me. I love it.
Well, you're a Maryland,
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a great compliment. And yes, happy Thanksgiving. So like Sandy D is here, and Sandy D's reminding us, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Down in South Florida, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Think of me. Some cabinet picks. That's why I wore this shirt tonight. I'm always looking for fashion things to do on the show, shake things up. Let's see. Next week, Roland Pruitt and his Kaiju review. They are doing Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Actually, we're doing Nightmare Before Christmas next week on the show, and we are going to have Alana Long.
I think it's just Lang.
Alana Lang.
I think so. Yep.
Lois Lane, Alana Lang.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's what's going on. Next Monday, I think they're doing Anthony Hopkins on Two Guys and a Girl Talking Movies.
Yeah, I think that's what they said they were going to do. That Mr. Hopkins fella. Yep. So
definitely tune into that or look it up on YouTube, Twitch, X, all of the popular platforms were archived on all of those. By all means, folks, if you like this show, look into others. Look, we got 159 episodes of this free on YouTube, X, Twitch, all three. You can go see them at your favorite platform.
There you go. Yep.
There it is. So enjoy. You got a long weekend. Hey, binge watch a little Monster Briefing Room. Binge watch. There's like 10 episodes now of Kaiju Review with Roland Pruitt. So, binge watch Two Guys and a Gal Talking Movies. You like movies? My gosh, they talk about all kinds of directors and actors and actresses and such. So definitely tune into that if you like movies, because they have a lot of fun talking about movies. Those knuckleheads.
Yeah, they get silly sometimes over there. Yep.
All right. Thank you again, Hazard, for keeping this running like a well-oiled machine. We did not go 20 minutes over, which I expected because of the long. So
that's right. We were ship shape.
Very good. And we digressed. We did some side stuff. So I was very happy with that. We made it at an hour and 10 minutes. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. If you're watching later after that, yeah, have a great weekend, whatever. Keep an eye out for those.
This here's Master Sergeant Havoc. Thank you for watching this episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. Now, why don't you go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell next time big old John Monster comes calling. See y'all later.